Welcome to Coffee for Closers, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this week. We're talking about some of the hottest annuity updates out there in our world. With everything going on in the world, there have been some pretty significant changes that we haven't seen in years. So we hope you enjoy this episode. And be sure to comment, like, or subscribe to the channel. It all helps. Appreciate it. All right, everybody, welcome to Coffee for Closers. Alex Wellings here with Rick Kallmeyer. And this week we are talking about some of the hottest things going on in the annuity space, which is interesting because it is about to be maybe the golden era of the annuity for the next decade. Interest rates on the rise, and the insurance companies are becoming a sexy place for people to put money.
Absolutely.
Now. Gosh, I never thought I'd say that. But it's true. It's not, the markets are down, so people are looking at it, especially those close to retirement, are looking for safer options. Basically, it's MIGAs are offering 4.25% guaranteed rates of return. For locking your funds up for 3 years, 5 years, whatever it might be. It just depends on the product you choose. Yeah. But then in the fixed space, or the fixed index space, I should say, things have been coming very, very interesting on how the actuaries at these design or in the carriers or in design companies are coming up with ways to, give back those earnings, right? So in a place where they're able to, guarantee themselves a little more of their profit, we'll say, they're now passing those profits back in the form of their products in a way that's, in the fixed index world, they can do it in all kinds of ways. It doesn't, in the MIGA world, it's a multi-year guaranteed annuity we're talking about when we say MIGA. It's all about interest rates, right? So that's it. All they're going to do is just raise the interest rate. But in the fixed index world, we're seeing par rates go through the roof. We're seeing payout factors come out on index or on income riders. We're seeing
roll-up rates get increased, bonuses coming out of the woodworks, a whole bunch of bells and whistles getting added.
Wild.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go through some of the hottest things going on, at least in our opinion, in the industry, and discuss it a little bit.
Yeah.
So what's up first? What do we see?
I think the biggest one that we've seen a lot of business flowing to would be American Equities changes on their income shield. Going back to that, they didn't increase the bonus, but it has been huge. Yep.
Massive.
Good-sized roll-up increase, and you wouldn't think a 1% is a massive roll-up increase, but when they're already pretty much top of the table.
What was it before?
It was 6% compound.
Yeah.
And then 7.25 simple. So now you're talking 8.25 simple, 7% compound. With the 7% bonus, right?
Wow.
You're talking you have a client's lost some money in the market.
Bonusing back 7, guaranteeing them a roll-up. If the purpose is income, guaranteeing them a roll-up of 8.25% each year.
Talking a pretty decent first-year return with air quotes.
Wow.
Right? Killer. Plus, on top of that, not only did they increase the roll-up rate, they also moved their payout factors up as well by a pretty good bit. I think at
so funny.
60 right now, it's around 5, a little over 5.
525 or something like that on one of the illustrations they sent out.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Which is insane to think about this a year ago. You'd be looking at income products, and you're like, okay, well, it's either payout factors in the 5s or payout factors in the 4s, high 4s, right? Or roll-up rates. It's going to be one or the other. Now it's I'm getting 8.25% on a product, and I'm getting a payout factor in the 5s, depending on your age, of course. But for a 60-year-old, insane.
Yep.
And so the payment, guaranteed for life, is out of this world. Yep. Now, they could adjust the payout factors, though. Can they adjust the payout factors for an in-force policy?
Yeah. They don't do it a lot because it's kind of a kiss of death, if you will. That makes a lot of people mad when you do that, right? But most of them it's able to. I don't.
I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed for life.
Yeah.
I don't think they can touch it.
I think they can move the payout factors. I think once you turn it on, you can't adjust it. Right,
That's
you're
what I'm
right.
saying.
Yes.
Once it's turned on.
Yes, sorry. I thought you meant a lot of the policy was still rolling up. No, once you turn that payment on, you're locked in forever. And I agree. It's
contractual agreement.
Last year, there's a lot of like, why would I look at a guaranteed product when I can put it into an accumulation product and do like a 6% withdrawal and be just fine, right?
And beat the payout factor.
Beat the payout factor in the income product, right? This year we kind of roll back and bowed to that concept of,
oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, because the markets go down and these indexes don't perform.
Yeah, 20% down in 6 months isn't great. 6%'s not looking good this year.
Well, it looked worse if you were in the market trying to pull those out.
Agreed.
That's
Agreed.
for sure.
But it's a whole lot better, and if you're in a guaranteed product, getting 8.2 or 8.2 rolled up.
For a retiree, it's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
And we've been doing a lot, as you know, with the TSP stuff, rolling a lot of those G fund monies into stuff like this. And it's just, if somebody needs income, there's an insane amount of guaranteed income being handed over to you right now.
Yeah.
If income is something you need, if you're looking to generate a pension for yourself, guaranteed income for life, it has never been a better time for the FIA.
Absolutely.
Never been a better time. And if you're like some of our ownership here, you think that there might never be a better time than what we're in right now. Stagflation almost, it's kind of just this time of people looking harder at like, man, this market stuff is just crazy and it's unknown territory, and the Fed, how long are they going to raise interest rates? And
only thing really paying out is short-term
bonds,
rates.
and I can't do anything with anything except insurance products.
The insurance companies will take all that risk,
All that risk.
invest in shorter term duration bonds.
Yep.
Be able to get some returns on it and pay you for it, right?
And we just did an episode about this, how an annuity works, and we talked about their ability to access shorter term bonds that the general consumer could not, right? And so they're able to take on this risk because they also have access to products that we as a general person would not, or mainstream America would not be able to access.
And it becomes like a good snaking in its own tail thing, right? It's like they offer better rates on products, which means they get more capital in, which means they get to spend more money developing and reinsuring and buying more bonds, right? So, for the next couple of years, we should see things continue to continuously tick up if we move at this same pace, right? Obviously, if everything changes next week, it'd be a different story, but right now it's looking pretty darn good for, annuity products in general. So, it was really cool. And a lot of people have been doing that. Obviously, like you said, in the Fed market, it's a huge product we've used. But generally, I would say check your guaranteed products across the board. Start looking at those a little bit better. Yeah.
I mean, this is just one good example, but something that's certainly been class leading so far. It was funny because the F&G put out the what was it, Safe Income Advantage, and they're like, look at our potential for guaranteed income, and then American Equity came right back with
said, all right, that's fine. Yeah, watch this.
That's all right. Watch this.
Yeah, all in the benefit of the client,
right?
Good.
Yeah, it'll be a little war between the two of them. Both great carriers, so it's interesting to see the guaranteed income space kind of bouncing back after, because that's kind of where it was when I first came into the business, and then it shifted to the accumulation products.
Shifted to like the increasing income style products, and then again, it all comes back to like, well, hey, look. If that market isn't working for you, all of that hypothetical is, it's out the window. So,
right. What about what else is out there?
Next big one, I'm sure a lot of people got in the emails on the Allianz Accumulation Advantage.
Oh yeah,
it's a really solid story.
Chance or attempt at an accumulation product, right?
Yeah. So they've obviously been largely income focused for a long time. They've had this product out for a while. It just really wasn't like a mainstay of it. I mean, everybody knows, insurance companies will typically have one or two, like, off the beaten path products. And accumulation not being Allianz's big focus, this Accumulation Advantage has always been one of those not used, not looked at, or at least overlooked kind of product.
Right.
And now it's drastically changed. So the big two highlights on it that I like a lot. One, for the high band, which is like 50,000 and above, 100,000 above maybe. 3.55 fixed rate, which is really nice in the product. So when you're in a situation like now where we're not sure the market's going to do for at least a year.
Almost MIGA rates.
Almost MIGA rates, right?
Wow.
So throw that in there for a year, right? Say, hey, look, we're going to use this as a MIGA structure for a year. Again, we assume the market's going to go back up. We've got some pretty good rates on here. One of them being an 8% cap on the S&P. Which is fantastic, right? If you want to go back to the roots of things.
What was it for just it's so funny, 8% cap in the S&P.
Wow.
What was a S&P cap last year this time? That's a good question for
2
viewers.
to 3. They moved. The problem is they moved. It's hard for me to remember because I moved so far away from S&P caps because it looks so ridiculous.
It was
all
so
of them went to
poor,
par rates.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the obvious standard in the wholesaler world, right, is to compare products on some sort of like-minded term, and you can't to get to the true intention of the product, right? And so then generally, if like income doesn't look good and the S&P 500 return doesn't look so good, and all these things, like you set the product up, it's just not looking that good. But except when you run it in this one index, well, that's a dead giveaway that this index is really where they want the shine to be on this product.
They're getting kickbacks on the index, and they need the money in there.
But it's funny to see all these carriers shift immediately right back to S&P 500 because it's like they know in the heart of their hearts that the consumer really doesn't care about this giant, super confusing name. Like, let me just rattle. I mean, any of them. I don't want to segment any of that, but your PIMCOs and your Barclays and what is
17 letters, 17 numbers.
So Allianz, who has like these Barclays indexes and all these crazy indexes, immediately shifts right back to S&P 500 because of course the consumer knows what that means. It's like, I can get up to 8% in the S&P 500. Well, that's pretty impressive. Versus saying you can have 275% par rate in the PIMCO index that's specialized in the gold standard or something. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Now, funny to roast the PIMCO because I do actually like that a lot.
I'm just saying for an example. It's not the PIMCO. I'm not saying PIMCO or
all the rest of them, right?
Or any of them. I'm just saying it's funny that we move to these kind of mutual fund style indices.
5% volatility control, 10% volatility control, ER index, non-ER,
like
futures based.
Our clients gave two hoots about what this index or understood it when the majority of them were like, oh yeah, S&P 500. I'm pretty sure I've seen that on CSNBC one time before. Right?
Yeah, they talk about. I at least know the name of it. They talk about it all the time. I know what the S&P 500 is.
That makes.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. I don't know why, but I do know that word. Yeah.
So and so for them to all come right back to, like, I'm looking at F&G's thing right here. It's like they're touting very clearly. It's like, well, you can also get. What did they say on the Prosperity Elite?
7 point
on their Prosperity Elite, a 1 year point to point with no charge, 7.25%.
Yeah.
Now, okay, well, everybody's like, oh, Allianz is doing 8 and they're only doing 7.25. It's like, well, this is an income product doing 7.25% in the S&P 500.
Crazy.
So that's pretty impressive. But back to the Allianz product. This is a true accumulation
product. No other bells and whistles, no fees.
No fees.
No rider.
No riders.
True blue, just strictly accumulation.
With an 8% S&P 500 cap. Then also all of their other kind of sexy indices that they've had.
What I also like really a lot about this option, where I kind of pair it together and why I like it, a lot of indexes we have now are something to a degree of like a 60-40 blend that reallocates within itself, right? And usually it's like, hey, look, we got a 60-40 stock versus bond. Stocks go up, we leverage towards stocks. Stocks go down, bonds go up, we leverage towards that. Obviously, we're in a market right now where stocks are going down and bonds are going down. Why I like the PIMCO is because the PIMCO blend has a lot of shorter duration bonds and longer duration bonds, which a lot of them do as well, right? The Bloomberg has the same thing, multiple duration bonds. But the PIMCO is really cool because not only does it allocate between the stocks and the bonds, but it will actually allocate inside of the bond index as well. So it will and has over the past few months moved towards shorter duration bonds and moved the longer duration bonds out of the portfolio. Yeah. So you get into an environment like right now, right? You throw a little bit in the fixed account, throw a little bit into the PIMCO, and just be prepped to throw it back in the S&P as soon as they start going back up. Right. You can capture some pretty good returns on this product.
That is, as long as they keep rates.
Yes, of course. As long as everything stays exactly the same.
As they say. But it is impressive, right?
Yep.
And so, no fees from Allianz. What about? Well, we could talk a little bit about that F&G. The other one we would talk about was that F&G as well.
Prosperity,
the Prosperity Elite offering. And this was interesting because I pulled up as we were doing research for this show. We were looking at this, and F&G had just sent this out 28th of July, saying starting July 29th, your clients can access Prosperity Elite's increased GMWB, which is their income rider that you can tag on some of their products, a majority of their products, a good chunk of them. Roll-up rate of 6%, which is obviously 125 basis points less than the roll-up rate of the simple roll-up rate of the American Equity. Is this compounding, or is this simple interest roll-up rate?
I bet the 6 is compounding.
I want to say it's a compounding. Yeah. And actually, I can check that right here. It is a 6%. Doesn't say on here, at least on my side of things. I bet you it's a compound. It does. It says it's a compound. There we go. So it's a compound interest roll-up rate on that GMWB, which is interesting. So it compares to American Equities, what, 7?
7, yeah. So it's a point below the 7.
It's a point below the 7.
Which isn't bad.
100 full basis points increase, though, from their last product. But here's where they come out of the woodwork as a powerhouse in the income space with this Prosperity Elite product. They're also having an S&P 500 index cap of 7.25, which we just mentioned, right? And they are the only, this makes the Prosperity Elite 10 and 14 the only available income FIAs from an A-rated carrier, so a little qualification there, that have a 1-year S&P 500 cap of 7.25 or higher with no strategy fee, and an account value bonus greater than 6%. So it does come with a 6% bonus up front, and then a 6% roll-up rate on top of that. So you can tag in a 6% bonus on the premium, get 6% guaranteed roll-up rate, and your account value could potentially be growing up to a cap of 7.25%. That's incredible. It's like the end-all, be-all of a product. And again, with F&G, they got the Power Producer program on top of that to help, incentivize you to write more with their product profile. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of benefits to doing that. And that kind of maybe even brings up some of the commission increases too. We haven't even really talked a lot about that, but what did we talk about? Silac increased some commissions.
Silac got an increase. Theirs is 0 to 300,000 or $299,999. 0. You get nothing for the first 300,000. As soon as you bump over $300,000, you get a 50 bip increase
in production.
$300,000 in production gives you a 50 bip increase to your compensation.
Wow. So if you're at what, like a 6% commission level or something like that, 7% commission level.
Yep. Adds an automatic 50 bips to it. And then as soon as you break 600,000, which isn't that much, not $1 million break where a lot of them are, you immediately get a 1% on all 4.
500,000?
600,000.
600,000. So 300,000 is the first band.
Yep. Then to $599,999, you get 50 bips.
And then over the 600 and above, you get a full point. Holy cow.
Which is pretty crazy.
So, but again, it's like that's how they can start to help redecide to say, hey, look, not only are we giving you raises to payout factors and roll-up rates, but we're also giving you guys more to help you guys stay in business longer to help your clients, right? Like, there's a lot of overhead in generating a client experience, right? A good quality client experience for 10 years, right? And so, I think, there's been a huge war on commissions since I came into the business, just downward, and commission reductions, and a lot of times advisors are forced to separate from products they love because again they're not keeping up. They can't keep in business running, and so there's a lot of carriers now that are starting to trend in the opposite direction. F&G, and now Silac, and American Equity potentially. I thought American Equity made an increase rate. I'm not sure exactly, But again, you start to see these carriers start to play that game, and we're starting to move in a different direction now back towards higher commissions, which isn't just about greed. This is about staying in business to help our clients better down the road, have our staff more beefed up, right? Have more and better tools to help them,
tools, software, staff, overhead,
research abilities. Anyway, all good stuff.
Things.
Any other commission increases?
I know Nassau increased theirs. Nassau, if anybody writes those, they've got some pretty good
Nassau
products.
Old Phoenix,
Theirs is a temporary comp increase from July 11th, so we're already partly into it, to September 2nd, and that's 50 bips for any business.
Little summer incentive.
15 bips for MYGA, 50 for FIAs.
Yeah,
little summer
spiff. Yeah. I'm looking at the MYGA rates for the 3, 5, and 7 through the F&G Guarantee Platinum. Just on another note here, the 3-year went up 25 basis points to 3.90%. 5-year
right now.
5-year went 15 basis points to 4.15, and the 7 years at that 4.25 we were talking about before.
Yeah,
that 5 years calling my name. 4.15. I'm telling you.
I'm going 3 for 3.9, man.
Not bad.
I'll round up in my head to 4.
really isn't bad.
That's great, dude.
It's just wild. The world we're living in is insane. Anyway, that's about what I mean. We've got plenty of updates for you. We can keep going down the path. Maybe we'll do another one of these episodes just as we see things continue to change. But these are interesting updates. If you want any more information about any of the products we mentioned, or you want more details, feel free to reach out to Megastar Advisors if you'd like. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed some of the information, and let's try and make the best of maybe a relatively bad situation for some, but let's get out there and start helping people get educated on some of these great products. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you right here next time on Coffee for Closers. Take care.
Do you want to do a quick intro? Actually, Rick, do that one more time. Do you want to do a quick intro?
Just use mine, though. Don't use his. Just use mine. Stop, dude. Use mine.